Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 41 of our Journeyman series here on Football Coach College Dynasty. And we have a first for yours truly in not just this save, but in this game as a whole, where we have the number one, the most talented team in the country on both offense and defense. Therefore, if we don't win the national championship, I feel like it's a disappointment. But thank you all for joining us. Last episode, we went through a kind of awkward transfer portal where I had to fill 20 scholarships. Ended up filling about 15. And so we are a little undersized as a team in terms of raw numbers, but hopefully that won't come back to bite us. Very excited to get this game going this season. We are in the 2037 season, our second season at Alabama, and our schedule is looking a bit juicy. We open at Michigan, who's currently number 7, then home against number 8 Mississippi State, number 12 Texas, at number 13 Army, and at number 11 Georgia. So there is a decent chance that every team we play in the first 5 weeks will be ranked and could even be ranked in the top 10 if Texas, Army, and Georgia all do some winning along the way. Then we face Vanderbilt before our week 7 bye. And then we go to Arkansas and then home against Tennessee, the only team that beat us last season en route to their own playoff berth. They beat us last season. It was very rude, 33-22, and that knocked us out of SEC championship contention. Then we are home against number 3 Notre Dame, at number 23 LSU, and then South Carolina and 16th Auburn to close. Now Auburn is ranked 16th. I don't know how. They went 6 and 7 last year and their offense got worse. So I'm a little confused by that one, but we'll set that aside. I think I've done a little bit of recruiting off stream just to get some things organized. So I'll show all of that after the Michigan game. But before we get started, let's go over a few things. First things first, player promises for this season. Last year we had 3. This year we have a lot more than 3. We have 8 player promises. These range from everything from winning the division, winning the SEC championship, making an All American team. Our kicker wants to play. Marvin Wall wants 50% of snaps. Cade Baxter wants 30. And Carson Tam wants 25 targets. All of these should be the snaps, the targets, the games, all of those we're going to get. It's just going to be a question of can we win the division and then can we win the conference. If we do that, then we should have maxed out integrity for the rest of the way. We also have a lot of players that are draft risks. For whatever reason, seniors are always on this list. I think it's because since they haven't redshirted, this operates under the assumption that I could be redshirting them their senior year. Obviously, I'm not. So early draft exits could be tight end Tony Allison, but he's leaning towards school. Tight end Cade Baxter, who is leaning toward the draft. That could potentially be a little hurtful for us. Offensive lineman Landon Haley is leaning towards school. Defensive lineman Leo Ball is leaning to the draft. If it's an early round, currently he's mocked to 5th, which is not early. Running back Jackson Conrad, similarly early round, but he's mocked to 5th. Anthony Burks is leaving if the early rounds, however, he's only a 6-rounder. This could, however, be kind of a blessing because when we look after the Michigan game at the quarterback I am recruiting, we will not need to redshirt him. So if Anthony Burks has a phenomenal season and gets himself drafted in the 3rd round, our succession plan doesn't need to get messy because I don't like the idea of releasing Anthony Burks after a year, but we'll see how that goes. In terms of our donor goals this season, there are some juicy ones. Our 3 diamond goals: win the division, beat Auburn, and then win 12 games. Goal donors throw 35 total passing touchdowns. For reference, last year we threw 36. Score 51 points in at least one game. For reference, we did that 3 times last season. Beat Auburn and then win against Texas, Army, and Tennessee. And then finally, our 2 silvers win a game against either Mississippi State, Georgia, or Texas. And finally, beat Auburn. So, in other words, if we just beat Auburn and Texas, we will have secured 5 donor goals, the bottom 4, and then one of the diamonds. So, if nothing else, winning those games will make us quite a lot of money. The only one I'm really worried about is the 35 passing touchdowns, just because we have a much better running back room than we did last season. So I might go back to running the ball a bit more, which could cut down on the passing touchdowns. Either way, for those that missed last episode, here is just a quick snapshot of our depth chart. I think the 2 positions that are infinitely better than last year are running back and offensive line, where now we have a couple players at 100 or above. The position that's a little bit worse is defensive line, with exception of Terry Dingle, obviously, who's flirting with 100 overall. Our defensive line back end starters a little bit worse. We had to promise Jorge Peters about $700,000 to stay. So if he doesn't play well, we could be in trouble, both financially, just from a principal standpoint, but also production, since we're counting on first-year JUCO Leo Ball and true freshman Lawrence Mosley. So our defensive line room is not great. By SEC standards at least. When 2 of your top 3 D linemen don't have a tackling over 80, it's kind of worrisome. But nonetheless, I'm excited to get this season rocking and rolling. Last year, obviously, we won the national championship. My goal this year is just win the SEC. I don't care what happens in the playoffs. Obviously, I do. If we get bounced in like the first round or quarterfinals, I'm going to be a bit annoyed. But last year, we didn't even make the SEC championship game because, unfortunately, looking at the division here, we lost to Tennessee, and then Florida and Georgia both had very good records also, and so we were not able to make it in, because the way this works is the top 2 division winners play in the conference championship game. So, priority number 1 is very simple. Don't lose to Tennessee. See how that goes. But these are your top 25 rankings heading into the season. Lots of SEC schools. Our old friend Fresno State is ranked 6th. No real other surprises. Army being at 13 is kind of cool. And then the Big Ten just has a monopoly on like the bottom 8 spots. So we're going up against Michigan today. I'm going to be honest. I looked at their roster a little bit before starting. Their offense doesn't really scare me. They have Preston Gill at quarterback, who played a little bit last season and was horrendous. He's fine, mid-high 80s in passing ability, nothing too crazy. Running back room, I really like Braden Wagner. He's your classic 100 strength power back, never going to fumble the ball bruiser. But other than that, their offense doesn't really worry me. We got a couple top wide receivers, but a big fallout after that. What does scare me is their front 7. At defensive line, they got a couple guys at 90, including Jake Kendrick, who famously I tried to recruit at Fresno State, and he decided Michigan was more worth his salt. And then linebacker, where they have Gail Brooks up top, who has mid-high 90s and everything, which just seems illegal. So I think to that end, we are going to work on our passing game and stopping their passing game as well. We have a lot of new starters. We have a new starting quarterback, new running back 1, kind of new wide receiver 1 with Mikey Hunter ascending in the ranks. And then the entire front 7 is just up in smoke, essentially. We're projected to win by 6 points. Michigan has 1 recruit visiting, 5-star linebacker Dominic Shirley, who needs a coverage linebacker. Can't really hate that. So far in the sim, Alabama and Michigan have played each other 5 times, 4 of which have come in the playoffs. Alabama has won every single game. Though, with the exception of this, all the playoff games have been close. So that's not for nothing. But let us begin the game. We will call tails as it never fails. See, we will defer to the second half as is our wont. Looks like we got heavy rain with 13-mile-an-hour winds. So we'll blitz up the middle to start. Sometimes my Thunder Smoke blitz on play one works. Other times it does not, as Billy Riddick rattles off a 48-yard pass. Outside run. Preston Gill, though, gets sacked by Terry Dingle. Thank you, Terry. Third and goal, they're in the spread. I'll blitz one brave linebacker. They got the first. All right. And Braden Wagner runs it in for a touchdown. Well, not a great start, it must be said, as they just ran rabid all over us. We will not be running practically any option this season. Anthony Burks is not a running quarterback by any stretch of the imagination, so that aspect of the game kind of gone, he says as he runs a read option by accident. It's fine. There we go. We get the first down already in the red zone. Throwing it to the tight ends a lot, which I respect. And Rafael Greer runs it in for the first touchdown of the season. Tied up 7-0. DB Blitz was inspired as Daniel Payne gets the sack. And an incomplete. They punt. All right. We're cooking with grease. We convert to 3rd and 2. Carson Tam gets his first target of the season. And for those doing math at home, Carson essentially needs like 2 targets per game to get his 25, which I think should be doable. He's already at 2. Bubble screen. Even the bubble screen worked. We're cooking with gas here. Get the first down. Thank you, men. Where's my corner post? It worked last time. And it worked this time. Carson Tam on the corner route into the end zone. We're up by 7. Looking pretty good so far. And they punt. All right. Our defense, I think, is as advertised. Because when you have, the most talented defense, should be doing well. Jackson Conrad is fumbled. Here's a question. How many fumbles did Jackson Conrad have last year? That's right. 0. And his ball security goes up to a 96. What happens? He fumbles. Oh, boy. Should I blame it on the rain? I think I'm going to blame it on the rain. But Michigan punts all the same. No issue. I'm going to leave chew clock on unless we get a big play here. All right, let's go up tempo just with a minute left. See if we can get in field goal range. There we go. Tony Allison, 18 yards. Why would I run the ball here, game? 2nd and 10. Middle hook. Never fails. It failed. And Mikey Hunter over the top with the touchdown. Very good gains. Now I'll let the clock run out. I thought about making them go for it on 3rd down just to try to ruin their completion, their 3rd down conversion, but best not tempt fate. It's going pretty good after one. Michigan's opening drive was a little bit terrifying, and they're still averaging 6 yards a carry. But we are 6 of 6 on 3rd down, which I hear that's pretty good. Solid recipe for success here. All right, let's see if we can run the ball a little bit, try to burn some clock. The draw works. Thank you, lads. That didn't work. And Burks is sacked. We punt. Is that our first punt of the game? Yes, yes, it was. All right. Not bad. I'm not doing the speed option. I'll do slants, though. It didn't work. No, and Burks is sacked again. Come on, guys. There we go. 3rd and 12. Incomplete. All right. Yeah, our defense is doing fine. I think the crux of this team is going to be how consistently our offense can score. Conrad has fumbled twice. He had 0 fumbles last season. He has fumbled twice in the first game of the season. That's crazy. Our defense gets the stop, and Greer is tackled for a safety. Yep. All right. I mean, this game ain't over yet. That said, our defense is still doing phenomenally. Why would I do 4 verts? There we go. Tony Allison gets us the conversion. We're cooking. That run did not work in the slightest, did it? Corner posts. It failed. I'm going to punt. If I was on the other side of the 50, maybe I'd go for it. Bad call for me to blitz there. They burn us on the blitz twice. All right, Michigan's on the board. They're down by 5 now. We get the big conversion. Thank you, Marvin. And Burke's getting sacked there. Less than ideal. Yep, no dice. Okay. Michigan has the ball with a chance to take a lead with a touchdown. And they get a 41-yard pass. Our defense is getting killed on the big plays. They're going for a 50-yarder in the rain. They make it. All right, 2-point game. So a field goal wins them the game if they get the ball back. My goal is simply to not allow them to get the ball back. 2nd and 4, I'm going to pass. I'm going to run. He fumbled 3 times. He had 0 fumbles last season. He has fumbled 3 times this game. That's actually insane. All right, we need to not allow them to get any more yards. And Oscar Underwood fumbles. Chandler Gordon forces and recovers. What a clutch save. I'm going to run the ball again just to burn their timeout. Part of me wants to go for an avoid 2, but I'll just punt. All right, they have no timeouts. They need to get into field goal range. Let's see how they do. And it's intercepted. Luis Silva picks him off. That's ball game. Bubble screen to finish. Thank you. Good night. We escape a nail biter against Michigan, 21-19. Wow. We started 6 of 6 on 3rd downs, finished 3 of 6. The only reason that game was close is Conrad decided to have the worst game of his life. 11 carries, 36 yards, and 3 fumbles. Yeesh. Maybe we blame the rain, but that is insane. 3 fumbles is actually crazy. But other than that, I think Burks did pretty good. 31 of 44, 314 yards, 2 touchdowns. Disappointing from our run game, but that is what it is. Sheffield, Hunter, Wall, pretty good. Leonard and Tam got some catches also. 3 sacks on defense, I'll take. But man alive. I mean, that was ugly. That was a hideous game of football. But we get the win. We escape. And sometimes, you just can't complain about such a thing. We get an achievement. Play a game with 90 plus overall and defensive ratings for your team. Jackson Conrad now has set the Alabama game record for most fumbles. We'll leave that alone for now. Oh boy. That's a thing. All right, before we get into the Mississippi State game, let me talk recruiting. So, in last episode, we identified our needs in recruiting on offense as quarterback, wide receiver with a big old question mark, tight end and offensive line, and then defensively, literally everything: defensive linebacker, corner, safety. The most interesting position of which is the quarterback. So the starting quarterback I'm going for is Javier Augustine from good old Florida. Already as a recruit, he has mid high 80s in his passing ability and 81 ball carrier vision and 76 speed. This dude's amazing. Um, so if we get him, and right now we're 300 points ahead of Ohio State, he will be our starter next season and for however many seasons he is here. What that does mean is I've created kind of an awkward situation for Anthony Burks, who obviously is a JUCO. He wants to be a star. So what I'm thinking is if we get Augustine, then I am going to release Burks and let him go finish out his JUCO eligibility as a starter elsewhere. I hope both Jesse Funk and Emmanuel Cole want to stay, even though they're not going to play that much. They both have the loyalty tag, but you never know, that could, spell doom for me. And so the second quarterback I'm looking at just as a potential depth backup guy is Dakota Ferreira, who has a cannon of an arm and can't do much else. I foresee him to be a break glass in case of emergency backup guy. He's never really going to play, but good to have that option. Other five-star players we're looking at is wide receiver Hayden Banks, who has an 88 overall, already mid-90s ball skills, 97 evasion, 84 speed. He's great. Wide receiver is only going to be a need if I lose a couple guys to the draft or, some unexpected transfers. But I'm losing my top two wide receivers, and so bringing Hayden in will immediately replace one of them to be potentially our top wide receiver. JUCO lineman Lance Davies, the 67 pass block is a bit worrisome. He also doesn't have great potential, so it's likely that'll only hit low 70s, maybe mid 70s if we're lucky, but just solid, good strength, good run block, no complaints. Five-star D-line Travis Richmond this one's just, in reality, he's only here because Notre Dame is 2,000 points behind me. I need his strength to get up. 71 is horrendous, but he's got a good block shed, good pursuit. He'll probably redshirt for a year, and hopefully his potential increases. Five-star linebacker Trevor Bush would already be a starter on my team. He's got 90 IQ, 86 tackling, decent coverage ability as well. I can put him at linebacker. I can put him at safety. He's really, really, really good. And he'll likely play year one unless we bring in an amazing transfer linebacker. Five-star safety Anthony Roberson. He might end up at safety. He might end up at corner. I don't know. It might just depend on how the rooms look. But he's already really good zone coverage, decent IQ and tackling as well. Just need that speed to get up. And then my final five-star recruit is Jacob Gulati, who is your classic high-strength, high-block shed, good potential guy. He's definitely going to redshirt, but we're banking on his potential over everything else. Other recruits of note, we are going after an athlete, Andre Stevens, who, looking at his positions, has the same overall as an O lineman that he does a D lineman, which is kind of interesting in and of itself. But I'm bringing him on to be a defensive lineman because I would rather have a D lineman with decent strength, tackling, and block shed and horrendous IQ than an O lineman that can't really block all that well. But he's got good potential. He does want to be a star. That could come back to bite me, but just an interesting D-line guy, or an interesting athlete, rather, that we're trying out at D-line. Another interesting prospect is Mateo Little, who is a four-star corner recruit, man coverage specialist. Potential is bad, but his overall is already fine. After, a redshirt year, he'll probably be a good backup for us. Other than that, it's just your classic mix of high potential depth guys. I am going after a couple tight ends. Mainly because, non-zero chance Tony Allison, Kate Baxter are both gone after this year. So I need to replenish that. Let me also schedule some visits. Mateo Little. Auburn is here. I'm going to schedule Mateo Little earlier. Also, Tennessee lost, lol. Because it looks like we're going to be pretty far ahead of Georgia and Florida. So I'll have him start the Tennessee group. And then Dakota Ferreira, I'm going to be honest, dude. I'll have him be the Texas group so that I can get some extra points there. In terms of where we are in all of the recruiting battles, we are ahead on every single recruit. The closest one is the aforementioned athlete, Andre Stevens, who Notre Dame is also very keen on. And then OSU is hot on our trail for Javier Augustine. So that is where things stand there. Other than that, a couple 400, 500 point races, but shouldn't be anything too crazy. Last year, we only spent 2.5 million in NIL on recruits. This year, hopefully, it'll be a little smaller because we missed out on a tight end because we didn't have enough money to sort of push him over the top. But that is what it is. I'm going after 17 recruits, which is pretty medium for me. Low end is like 15, high end is usually like 20, 22. So that's where we're kind of at in life. I did briefly want to look really quick at just the running back position to see if there were any, let's just do 3-star and above, any running backs that could be worth pursuing. It's not a big position of need for us. It's really not a need position at all, but couldn't hurt to check. Dylan White, A+ potential. He has no athleticism whatsoever, though. He doesn't care about anything. Like facilities, he really wants to hit the weight room and the spa. I'll add him to my list just to keep an eye on him. But it doesn't look like the most impressive list. I'll add Israel Dickey. He looks like he could be interesting. Franklin Lassiter as well. Just to keep him on that list. All right. Week 1 is come and gone. Who did Tennessee lose to? That's the real question. They lost to Northwestern. All right, fair enough. All right, so we're facing also Texas beat OSU in 2OT. So we're facing Mississippi State. Mississippi State last year did fine, 9-4, made a bowl game. This year, though, their talent is crazy. Number 3 in offense, number 6 in defense. Their quarterback, Alonzo Williamson, who looks like your classic high IQ, solid arm strength. Accuracy is a bit but he can run. And he did not run in their week 1 win. Looks like he got sacked a bunch. So that is unfortunate for them. Running back wise, looks like they got a good 1-2 punch in Eduardo Thurman and Salvador Arrington. See, this reinforces my belief that the AI doesn't know what to do with receiving backs. This guy's a receiving back with 84 catching, 79 route running. Last season, he was only targeted 14 times and had 7 catches. The AI just doesn't know what to do with receiving backs. Am I going to complain, though? No. So I think we're going to work on our running game since we had 3 fumbles last game and work on our pass defense. Should I have done run defense? Nah. We're projected to win by 11 points. I have 2 recruits visiting 4-star linebacker Bradley Adams, who is your classic jack of all trades, good potential linebacker. and 4-star tight end Ian Hillard, who, if he were a bit bigger, I'd move him to O-line, but I think he's staying at tight end. So far in the save, Mississippi State has only beat Bama once, and that was in 2031 in a very close game, 14-13. So let's continue our winning ways. Let's see what Mississippi State has got. We will defer. And as is our wont, Thundersmoke Blitz. Yeah, they got 5 yards. Less than ideal. And they go backwards again and again. Mikey Hunter with a good punt return. And we have beautiful field position. What a wonderful occasion. We're already at the 23. We then stopped. I'll take the field goal. Thank you. Abraham High makes his first field goal. The redshirt freshman, who is our kicker of the future. We hope. Nice 35-yard punt return. Thank you, Mikey. I am not doing a read option game. Leave me alone. Maybe my benching of Jackson Conrad is just like, I say benching. He's the number 2 back now. David Sheffield with the 19-yard touchdown. He didn't want me to finish my thought about how Jackson Conrad moving to number 2 has given him the yips. But you'll never know. Good stop from our defense. Why is this game obsessed with me doing 4 verts in so non-4 vert situations? There we go. Good run from Conrad here. The offense is moving. We're shaking. Cesar Dixon getting involved in the run game now, and Raphael Greer runs it in. And so far, we are cruising against Mississippi State. Though it looks like they're going to score here with a field goal. All right. I'm going to keep chew clock on until we cross midfield, which we have done. Switch it to up-tempo here. And Carson Tam over the top. They did a free safety blitz. Didn't work. And we go up by 21. That'll do. Luis Silva with the sack. And they punt on 3rd and 17. How many sacks did Luis Silva even get all of last season? He got 2. All right. Well, minute 19. Might as well try to get in field goal range. Just to see if we can. All right, we're at the 35. Can we get a little closer at the 18? What if we just get a touchdown? No. Burks is sacked. All right. And Abraham missed the field goal. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, we're up by 21. No real complaints. They're only averaging 3 yards a run, whereas we're averaging 8. They're 0 of 5 on 3rd down. Or 4 of 5. So I think we're going to try to run the ball a little bit to establish some time of possession, as they say. That didn't work. David Sheffield dropping the pass pretty much summed that drive up. Good stop from Mosley, the true freshman. Good punt return from Mikey also. We're moving and shaking. Good man. And a touchdown off the slants to redshirt freshman Marvin Wall. That should do it. I think, barring a complete and total collapse that has not been seen in the history of sport. That said, Mississippi State scores a touchdown. So 21-point game. That also means the starters are going to stay in until we score again, which has arrived. Mikey on the curl route. That's some game cast for you right there. Just big play, big play, big play, big play. All right, the backups are now in on defense. We'll see what these guys can do. They get a 3 and out. Good job, lads. Cesar Dixon is going to get a lot of run here, which is good. Kyle Westbrook dropping the pass is not so good. I'll go for it. Why not? Carson Tam gets it. Middleton gets nothing. I'll just punt here. I doubt he makes the 50-yarder. All right. Mississippi State has scored again, so they're putting points on the board late. I highly doubt it will matter in the grand design. Right when I say that, Jesse Funk fumbles and they recover. Okay. Well, the backups are still in because we had such a lead to begin with. But now I kind of just want to score again. Doesn't look like I'll get my wish, though. Nope. All right, field goal it is. There we go. Eric Clemente, the depth corner, with the interception. Thank you, lads. Blake Howell with a first down run. What is happening in this game? That'll do. All right, we beat Mississippi State 41-23. It really wasn't that close of a game. I mean, I put my backups in like here, and then we had a fumble through a pick, so they got some garbage time points. Burks 24-35, 252 yards, 4 touchdowns. That'll do. Jesse Funk had less success, but that is what it is. Raphael Greer did great. Cesar Dixon did well. Conrad, only 7 carries on the day. Blake Howell, the redshirt freshman, getting involved late with some carries. We love to see it. Carson Tam, by the way, 7 targets. Which actually is quite a bit when Wall gets 3 and 6 and Lennon gets 3. But only 1 sack from our defense. You'd like that to be a bit higher. But Mikey Hunter averaged 20 yards a punt return. I hear that's pretty good. So good win for us there against a really talented Mississippi State team. But just not their defense's day, I think. Not their day. Oh boy, speaking of Mikey, he is out with a concussion for a week. Do I rip the red shirt off of Francisco Askew? Nah, I'll just give Francis Mack and Patrick Hobson some more reps. And then the other injury was Maxwell Winters at linebacker, which that really hurts. I think I'll move him down to 4. Yeah, I think I'll move him down to 4. Has Julius McNeil done anything? 3 tackles, okay. All right, so we get our first couple injuries to start. We also got 1,400 points for both Adams and Hillard from the recruiting visit. Anyone else want to schedule? Yeah, okay. Now everyone wants to schedule. All right. I think I'm going to continue building out this Notre Dame visit just for the guys that are interested in Notre Dame. Because if both us and Notre Dame are still in the top 5 by the time we play, they'll get an insane amount of points anyway. Ooh, Georgia leapfrogged us on downs. Okay. Abraham Roberson, you can join the Tennessee group. Jacob Gulati, you can also join the Tennessee group because I don't much care about the Notre Dame boost. Colton Downs. It's a shame that he couldn't schedule that. I'm actually going to put him very last at the Auburn game. Alejandro Elmore can be Tennessee because they're interested in him. Moses Strickland. Let's do Tennessee also. Andre Stevens, that definitely needs to be Notre Dame. That's why I didn't schedule the other defensive lineman then, because I would take a point hit. Giovanni Blue, Vandy, because they're interested in him. Shout outs to Vandy. And oh boy. Lance Kahn, you can also join Vandy. All right, let me scout these running backs before I do anything. I mean, none of them really move the needle, do they? I think definitely not Israel Dickey. The ball security being so low is too worrisome, I think. So it's between White and Lassiter. I think with White, I mean, you're just banking on that A plus potential bringing you home. With Lassiter, he's got better ball skills. You're hoping that carries you. He's also much better evasion. Hmm. I think I'll stick. I think Dylan White. I think Dylan White will be the running back that we go after, and then I'll schedule him for. Let's do the Tennessee game. All right, that should have been everyone getting scheduled. Perfect. All right. I'm already getting 900 points. I'm not going to offer a pitch on top of that. It's just offer everybody else. It looks like there are going to be a handful of close races. Javier cares about money a lot, but his market value is also 6.5 million, which means to get him to care about the NIL, we'll have to offer him, 2-3 million bucks, which, well, I'm not opposed to doing. Like to avoid it if I can. I lied. I'm going to give the running back just like a good offensive coordinator pitch. All right. So that is recruiting done and dusted. We're now up to 18 targeted players. Elsewhere last week, everybody won up here except LSU goes down and Army. Army, if you're not ranked by the time we play you, I'm going to be so disappointed. But we face Texas, number 6 in the country. They beat number 2 OSU and number 25 Kentucky. So they look pretty good, must be said. Their run game hasn't been great. Their pass game definitely has. And they've done very well for themselves with big plays. Defensively, I mean, they're allowing a lot of pass yards. Who's their QB? Well, this guy looks good. Jeremiah Fisher, 111 accuracy. He looks pretty good. Texas kid, they kept him home. Their running back number is very low. Is there an injured player? No, they just have a bad running back room. Okay. Well, I think that settles that. We're going to work on stopping their passing game, and we're going to keep working on our running game. It's not quite been smoothed out yet, but we'll see how that goes. So we're favored by 15 points. We have one player visiting, quarterback Dakota Ferreira. And so far in the sim, Alabama 7-0 against Texas. All right, Texas elects to receive. That's fine by me. It is heavy rain. So help me if one of my running backs fumble. And we open with a sack from Luis Silva. Thank you, sir. And then they get a 47-yard pass. Fair enough. Oh, they convert the first down. And they get in the end zone with a run. All right. It's the second time now we've given up a touchdown on the opening drive. And we respond 57-yard pass. Thank you, sir. At the 1-yard line. Still at the 1-yard line. Still, I'm not doing a QB sneak. We're just going to hand it off again. Wow. Zero at the 1-yard line. 0-0, -1. Send it. All right, we get it that time. It took 4 runs, but Rafael Greer gets it in, and Abraham misses the extra point. Oh, boy alive. They convert to 3rd and 13. Not that one, though, and they miss the field goal. Okay. So, early returns. Our run game, not doing good. Tell me you heard that before today. Yeah, we're getting nothing. Cade Baxter, 25 yards. Thank you, sir. David Sheffield drops a touchdown. That's always good. Avery Leonard drops a touchdown. That's nice. And incomplete. Well, there's your other downside of my top wide receiver being injured. It's when the number 2 and number 5 wide receivers drop touchdowns. However, there was a fumble and I hit Sim too quickly to see who forced it. It was the JUCO, the man, the myth, the Leo ball. We convert to 2nd and 13. Thank you, lads. Doing pretty good at the 3. At the 1. Greer runs it in. We're up by 9. I think I'd rather take the extra point than go for 2 there. Well, not that it will matter anyway. They only settle for a field goal. Okay. Defense is trying. We're going to switch to up tempo here. Wow. I switched up tempo and immediately the team just craters. Why did I do cover 4 quarters on 3rd and 5? And we have an interception. Jackson Rasmussen picks him off. Let's see if we can just get one quick play. Incomplete. What a shame. Bird him with the curls. And we got 11 yards. All right. Good news is I think we can keep pace with them offensively. Bad news is they've had 2 turnovers and we're only up by 6. Good run there. Greer, you kill me. I'm going to be bold. I'm going to be brave. We're going for it. Send it. Greer gets me 8. Oh, that felt like a questionable decision, but it worked, so it's fine. No, Burks is sack. 3rd and 14. Where is my dagger? No dice. All right. Remember when I said we can keep pace offensively and then just that happened? That was fun. Defense gets a much needed stop, and Raphael Greer says, I'll do it myself. 36-yard touchdown run. Let's go for 2. We don't get it. Okay. Texas punts again. Okay. We're going to switch to a little bit of a run game here. Big 3rd and 11 conversion there. Thank you, Marvin. And Cade Baxter with the touchdown pass over the middle. 19-point game now. Good sack from Terry Dingle. Tackle for loss, Fabian Boone. And Texas punts once again. We're looking good. We're looking solid. We're looking a bit less solid now, but we get the field goal all the same. 22-point lead. All right, they got the conversion. At this point, they're also burning a lot of clock getting down the field, so I'm perfectly okay with how this is going. Good sack, Lawrence Mosley. They missed the field goal. Look at this drive. This is just 17 plays, 62 yards. They're churning down the field. They're getting 7, 8 yards. They're going backwards multiple times. And it all ends with a 30-yard missed field goal. That's rough. All right, the backups are in, and we have to punch. It's like Texas is going to try to get points here. Felipe Grant Sack says, not in my house. And incomplete pass. That'll do. Carson Tam with a 17-yard pass. Now I'm just farming points, really. And Jesse Funk is strip sacked. That's what I get. That's also Jesse's second fumble in as many games, but that's fine. I think a good win. A little shaky. They kept pace with us running the ball, which is pretty impressive. We were only 3 of 11 on third down. We had a lot of long third downs there. Greer did really well. 3 touchdowns. No other running backs really contributed that great. Carson Tam, 7 targets. He's got to be close to 25 already. Marvin Wall, 7 catches, 141 yards. Have a day, sir. All righty, Mikey is back. So we're just going to slide him up the list. Patrick Hobson is upset about his playing time. Well, Patrick, deal with it. No. All right, we got 1,400 points for Dakota Ferreira on that recruiting visit. That'll do. Hey, Army is ranked. Good. Okay. So it is now week 4, which is when the transfer concerns pop up. Give me the numbers. That's fine. That's a little bit worrisome. Jacobson, that should be fine. Askew, we can convince to stay. Hobson can walk. Pardo can walk. DeSantiago, that's fine. I can let him go. Dalton can get more playing time. Wesley can walk. Really, Harrison? You want more playing time? Whatever. Yeah, it looks like our O-line is about to get shredded. Special shout out, Nathaniel Mosley, who understands that he is a backup O-lineman. My goodness gracious. Mitchell Marshall, have you allowed a sack yet? You've allowed a sack. I'm so tired of you. But so is Jacobson. Man. All right. Also, it looks like I need to recruit a kicker. Since our backup kicker is about to hit the road. What kickers are most interested in coming to my acclaimed school? Also, keep in mind they won't play. So I also kind of need a kicker that's fine with not playing. I think we'll need to dip in the 2-star range for this one. Okay. I think I'll take Mr. Curry from Georgia. Georgia, sweet Georgia. How many points am I behind right now? Oh, I'm ahead by 1,000. Cool. And we leapfrogged West Virginia for Dylan White. Sweet. And their visit is first. Good. All right. And it looks like good thing I'm grabbing a couple of linemen with how many O linemen are threatening to walk. Georgia leapfrogs us on Colton Downs. How rude. And it looks like everyone else we're keeping pace with. It's going to look ugly for a bit because most of our recruiting visits are later on in the season. But that should mean that we make up the ground later on. Hopefully. All right, checking in on player promises through 3 games. Irrelevant, irrelevant. Abraham's going to get his. Marvin Wall was promised 50% of snaps. He's currently at 60. Cade Baxter, 30%, currently 46%. And Carson Tam is at 18 out of 25 targets. Coolio. That'll do. And we already got one of the silver donor goals by beating Mississippi State. So, let's look at Army. They are ranked 22nd right now. They beat Duke, lost to Rice, that's awkward, and then destroyed Charlotte in revenge. Oh, that's why I'm seeing a lot of negative rushing yards because an update changed it. Where now it used to be in this game and in real life, sacks took away from a player's passing yards, but then the NCAA changed it to be rushing yards, and I think this game followed suit. So, like, that's why. Where's our boy? Yeah, that's why Burke's negative 26 yards because he's been sacked a bunch. Okay. Well, now that I have solved that mystery, David Casson, as it's probably called. Ooh, that's some really good passing numbers. All right. That's not too shabby. Their running room, is looking nice. 6.7 yards a carry. Amari looking very good. Averaged almost 6 yards a carry last season with 1,400 yards. Okay. That's a bit scary. I think we'll try to stop their run and focus on our pass game. Looks like this game might finally not have rain, which will be nice. We're favored by 8.5 points, and Army has 9 recruits visiting West Point for this game, including a couple 4-star prospects like safety Micah McCray, who looks decent in coverage, and running back Tucker Shea, who I'm going to be honest, I would stay away. So far in the sim, Alabama has beaten Army once. Also, when I see that, like, because the out of conference contracts are 2 games, usually, because I doubt Alabama would agree to a single away at Army. That seems a bit silly. So does this mean that, like, Bama just got paid out for the contract not going back? Interesting. All right, let us flip the coin. It is tails. And you know what that means. Thunder Smoke Blitz. They got 8 yards. It's not working, guys. We're in trouble. There we go. The engage 8 worked that time. We sacked David Casson for a loss of 5. And they have to sell for a field goal. Okay. I have a sneaking suspicion our defense isn't as good as last year's, which is slightly worrisome. But shouldn't be the end of the world. Mikey Hunter is back, gets a 14-yard completion, then a 17-yarder. We're cooking. We get the first down. We're at the 8. I'm going to pass it on 3rd and 2, and if it is incomplete, I'm going for it on 4th down. And we get the touchdown. Tony Allison over the middle. We take the lead. That was a bad call to blitz there. All right, Army is driving, and they just got 4 straight first downs. Okay. All right, so Army's taking this more seriously than we are, it seems. Anthony Burke's scramble. It's never been so over. Oh, I accidentally clicked speed option. Whoops. Thank you, Cade Baxter. And Mikey Hunter returns with a slant touchdown. We take the lead, and a forced fumble. True freshman Lawrence Mosley with the strip sack. Very good, sir. Greer gets us the first down, and the play action touchdown to Tony Allison. Have a day, Tony. 48-yard return. We're in trouble. Ooh, they're going for it. I'm blitzing one linebacker. And it's incomplete. The slants fails. We have an opportunity to get even more points on the board here. Never mind. Where? Nah, I'm going to punt. They have one timeout, so if we can burn them deep, we could get a safety. Instead, however, Levi Koo catches it at the 9-yard line and proceeds to return it 91 yards for a touchdown. For those of you who watched, this would have been episode 38 when we lost to Tennessee. The turning point was when Tennessee scored on a Hail Mary to end the first half. Army has just returned a punt to the house and is now only down by 4. So we're not looking too good momentum-wise. 27-yard pass helps. Come on, guys. 4 verts. Send it. Didn't work. 3rd and 20. Burn them at the corners. No. Guys, burn them at the corners again. Carson Tam dropped the corner pass. He's killing me. But Luis Silva with an interception. All right. Well, the punt return is obviously horrendous. But other than that, I think our defense is doing well. And our offense is showing that we're very capable of scoring. So now it's just a question of, can we keep the pace? Avery Leonard, 10-yard touchdown on the slants. I think we're okay. Uh-oh. They converted 3rd and 3. They converted 3rd and 5. Don't know why I didn't switch to goal line there, but all right. Army scores. 44-yard pass, David Sheffield. Thank you. They did a thunder smoke blitz on 3rd and 11. Okay. I'm not going to complain. Rafael Greer runs it in, leads back up to 11. And listen, I'm fine with keeping this race going. Can Army? No, they don't. They do not convert. They punt it away. All right, let's run the ball a bit. Not with the power option, though. We're just going to run it. We're just going to, we're going to relax a little bit. Field goal it is. Who dropped that pass? Oh, no, it was incomplete, the Walls. I thought it said dropped. All right. They convert the 3rd and 9. I mean, credit to Army. They're not going away. They do punt. That should be the death nail, because now we can just run out the clock a bit. Jet sweep. Even the jet sweep work. 3rd and 5, I'll pass it. And Marvin Wall gets us in the end zone. Okay. That should be game. Backups are in. They convert the 4th and 5, though. They get in the end zone. Okay. Well. Just run it a couple times. All right. I mean, if you're going to keep calling timeouts, I'm just going to keep running it. Cool. All right. We beat Army 45-30. I mean, that was a pretty close game. Sure, they had the punt return for the touchdown, but they also had 2 turnovers to keep it kind of give us a little edge there. Burks did great. 25-31, 305 yards, 5 touchdowns. Greer, 16 carries, 101 yards, got a touchdown. Conrad did really well. Cesar Dixon only had 1 carry. Dude, I feel so bad for him. He's just not going to play. Oh, boy. But Allison had 2 touchdowns. Leonard, Wall, Hunter all had 1. Really good. Our defense, I think, did okay. They got a garbage time touchdown and a punt return touchdown, so that is what it is. We were definitely allowing more points than last season, which is a little bit disconcerting. Also, had we scored another touchdown, we would have gotten to 50. Because at the moment, we have yet to get to 50. That is what it is. No injuries, which I will take. I will like. All right. Anyone else want to schedule a visit? Yes. Makai Curry, the kicker. I'm going to be honest, dude. You can just show up to Vandy. I mean, we're pulling ahead. Oh, looks like. All right, George offered money to Colton Downs. Do I really want to fight for Colton Downs? When are the visits? Oh. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, if we lose to Georgia, we're in trouble here. Notre Dame, I assume, offered money for Andre Stevens. They did. West Virginia offered money for Dylan White. And Georgia just had their visit from Mateo Little. They lost. They got 940 points, though. Okay. Surprised they scheduled him against Notre Dame when they play me next week. And so they would get the boost for another interested team. But I'm not going to complain. Where is Javier? Javier. So, I mean, yeah, OSU is catching us. But the problem I'm going to run into is, like I said, because his market value is so huge, even if I offer him, let's say, $3 million US, that's only going to get me 268 points. Now, maybe that ends up being the difference. Maybe it doesn't, but it's a lot of money. A lot of coin. Vandy also is on the cusp of being ranked. So if they win their next game, we could face another ranked opponent. That could be fun. All right, Georgia, talk to me. You're 3-1. You're only lost to number 2 Notre Dame. No shame in that. Only allowed 2 sacks all season. What must that feel like? But pretty good passing and run team. That looks like. They don't pass it deep that much. So that is notable. Their top 10 rushing team, or against the run, rather. They allow a lot of pass yards. So that could be our key to victory here. Fernando King is their QB. He was their backup this year. Now he's their starter. 102 IQ is nice. Yeah, I'm not that afraid of him. King Collier looks pretty good. So I think we're going to limit their short passing since they just seem to not be able to pass it deep, and then work on our downfield passing game. So, I mean, this is a big game. You know, it's against Georgia. I think if we win it, then I feel pretty good about our chances to be at the top of the SEC. Because assuming we beat the unranked guys like Vandy, Arkansas, LSU, South Carolina, and Auburn, then it comes down to Tennessee again. So that'll always be fun. Also, vindicating that I said I didn't know why Auburn was ranked. They're now 2-2 and become unranked. Need I say more? All right, we're favored by 4. Georgia has 7 recruits visiting, including one player I am in on. 4-star tight end Colton Downs. Looks to be a pass-catching tight end. So if Georgia win this game, it's pretty insurmountable catching up. So far in the sim, they face each other 10 times. Alabama with 8 wins to 2. Suffice to say, Alabama has been very dominant in this save. And again, aren't they always? Right, it is heads, and Georgia will elect to receive, and you know what that means. Send the house. Thank you, Paul Wilcox. One thing I did forget to check, can Fernando King run the ball? Not really. Okay. So we had the ball with pretty decent field position. That was a good punt, though, 47 yards. But we punt. Not good. But they punt also. All right. No one wants to progress today. It's a pretty bad time to throw. I think that was his first interception of the season as Burks is picked off by safety Mason Lau and returned 64 yards for a touchdown. And yes, that was his first interception of the season. Bad time for it, buddy. We convert the 3rd and 9. That's huge. Jackson Conrad, Cesar Dixon getting us going on the ground. Why did I jinx us? Abraham, what's your power? 84. Let's go for it. Nah. All right. That was a risk. And Georgia is driving. We need to stop him here. We do not. All right, we're down a 10-0 hole early. Pick 6 and a missed field goal. Not how you want to start. Terrible timing to allow that sack. Ooh, we got him at the 1. Goal line. Send it. Dang it. All right, they punt. We have the ball with good field position again. But we got sacked again. Come on, guys. They missed the 53-yarder. We have good field position. Let's party. Oh boy, there we go. We convert the 3rd and 7. Not a good game from our passing guys so far. Negative 1-yard pass, huh? We punt. Man alive. I'm going to call a timeout. Yeah, the timeout was just in case we return that for a touchdown. But we did not. All right. Well, good news is they only scored 10 points. Bad news is we've scored 0. And 7 of their points have come from that pick 6. So our defense is keeping us in this game. We just really need to score here. I don't understand why medium passes would be nerfed if it's been halftime since I called them, but fair. And we punt. Not good. They convert against the blitz. Not against my old friend cover 4 quarters. All right. There we go. Conrad 13 yards. Big conversion there on 2nd and 12. I'll take the field goal. Maybe I should have gone for it there, but at this point, just mentally, I needed points. If I'm being honest. There we go. Luis Silva, tackle for a loss. Jorge Peters, tackle for a loss. And an interception. Julius McNeil. Our last starting linebacker on the old depth chart with a pick. Let's go. We move. 17-yard pass to Marvin Wall. Come on, get in the end zone. 3rd and goal at the 2. I'm going to run it. If we don't get it, I run it again. We got it. Rafael Greer gets in. Extra point is good. Tied up. 10-0. We're cooking. They convert the 3rd and 6, and they are just drove all the way down. Okay. However, we hold them to a field goal. Our defense is clutching it right now. First and goal to 1, -1. Second and goal to 2, -3. Third and goal to 5, -3. Wonderful, wonderful stop by our defense. Now, can our offense do what it's supposed to do and get me points? 3rd and 1, let's run it. Good. We got exactly 1 yard. And we're sacked again. That's sack number 3, and it's all come on like second downs to force, 3rd and longs. Corner post, send it. No dice, we punt. All right. Defense, please. 3rd and 4. Sack from Luis Silva. They punt. Okay. And David Sheffield muffed the punt. Unbelievable. Our defensive coordinator probably wants to strangle someone right now. Because 7 of Georgia's points was the pick 6. So they have held Georgia to 6 points this game, and we just give it away. Giving it away. We need to hold them to a field goal. Because if they get a touchdown, I mean, that's game just from time. Field goal. Okay. Up tempo's going on. Touchdown and an extra point wins us this game. Anthony Burks, time to earn your non-existent paycheck, buddy. 2nd and 4, let's run it. Good call. We're at midfield. We're moving. We're shaking. The AI still wants me on normal, which is kind of insane. Gonna be honest with you. All right, 2nd and 1. Let's go mesh. It worked. We're at the 11. At the 5. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? Last stick. And we get it. Tony Allison off the hitch. Extra point is good. Okay. Minute and 24. Our defense has been spectacular today. And we get the interception. Jackson Rasmussen picks him off. Now, I am not going to kneel down. We're just going to run. Because 1 first down, we win the game. And we get the first down. Jackson Conrad gets us 13. Let us kneel down and end the game. Ooh, that was too close. That was too close for comfort. What an up and down that was. We outscored them 17-6. Just barely getting them. Jeez. I mean, that was just a terrible game of football. Like, the defenses from both sides deserve medals. Burks threw his first interception of the season. It was a pick 6. David Sheffield had his first fumble on punt return. Horrendous timing for that all to happen. But, I mean, Burks, it wasn't his best game. 24-38, 253 yards, threw the pick. Greer was stopped. Conrad did well, but he only ran it 6 times. So shout out to Allison for the touchdown. Pretty widespread. Really good day from the tight ends. Defensively, we got 2 sacks. Both of them were... Where would we be without Luis Silva? I don't know. Yeah, and then Abraham missing both a field goal and the combination of pick 6, missed field goal, and then just 5 straight punts. But we escape. We beat Georgia. We advance. On to the next week. That wasn't nerve-wracking at all. Oh, boy. Certified classic. I agree. Where do I look at the classics? History? Yeah, I'll find it later. I mean, I agree. Defensively, that was certainly a classic. Insanely so. Woo. Anyone else win or lose up top? OSU lost again. Oh, no. Oh, no. 2 losses, OSU. What happened? Notre Dame is still 2. So it's looking like our game with them will definitely be a top 5, which will be nice. All right, recruiting, we had 1 commit, and we already knew he was going to commit. Dakota Ferreira, just, listen, when you're recruiting 2 QBs, you don't need both of them to be great. I like the idea of getting a guy with 80 arm strength as a recruit just to see how high it can go. So that's our first commit. I think he's one of the only 3 stars I'm going after outside of a couple of JUCOs and then my 2-star. Recruiting this kicker is going to nuke my recruiting class ranking, but it's fine. OSU, ooh. Okay, they stopped doing their ace pitches for Javier, which is perfectly fine by me. Georgia offered money to Mateo Little. They got 1,000 points on downs. Yeah, even though they lost, because it was a certified classic, they got 150 points. Fair enough. But so yeah, all right. So we're behind now by 1,300. Yeah, the worrisome part is, good news is the recruiting visit for him is against Auburn, which is an interested team. Bad news is it's week 13. So there's a non-zero chance that Colton Downs commits before that game. Oh boy, Notre Dame. They got 800 points for Lance Davies, so they take the lead on him. And they got, similarly for Stevens. Okay. So a bunch of the AI schools, it looks like, scheduled their recruiting visits pretty early in the season, which is fine by me because it means I get the second or third visit bonus a lot. The bad news is that runs the risk of these guys recruiting before they even get to my visit. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Let me do a quick check-in. Draft guys. Leaning draft, not early, not early, not early. Okay. So it looks like our only 2 draft concerns are going to be Cade Baxter and Mikey Hunter. Mikey, who is going to graduate. So the only reason he's on here is he's a senior who never redshirted and he hasn't played 5 games yet. Player promises. Abraham Hyde's going to get 8. Marvin Wall is ahead on his snap count. Okay, Baxter's ahead on his snap count. And Carson Tam is 3 targets away from 25. So doing okay. Also, which safety wants to? Gilberto, listen, Gilberto, buddy. I didn't bring you in, so I plead the fifth. But yeah, I mean, he has no path to playing time. Like Rasmussen's going to graduate. Wilcox and Bellamy will each move up in the order. Butler will take the 3rd spot. So there's no real path for him, unfortunately. All right, Vandy, 3-2. They lost to Florida. Man, I thought they would be ranked, but they lost. They only lost by 6, to be fair. Oh no, they have a bottom 20 running game. Pretty solid passing game. They've only forced 1 turnover this year, which is worst in the country. 136 out of 136. They don't get a lot of big plays. They're pretty good. Opposing third down percentage at 32% is nice. Their QB is Warren Hawthorne, the Clemson transfer. $3 million. It's a lot of money, but he's doing pretty well for it. How's he looking? Yeah, your classic, really high IQ. Those guys are usually pretty dependable. Their running back room looks like it's not doing too great. Only 3 rushing touchdowns the whole year. I am not afraid. We're going to work on our running game and stopping their downfield passing, I think. All right, let's rock and roll. We are favored by 22 points. If there was ever a game where we would get the donor goal of score 51 plus points. Vandy might be up there. We have 3 recruits visiting, 3-star wide receiver Lawrence Kahn, JUCO guy, and our future backup kicker. So far in the sim, Bama and Vandy are in the same division, so they play each other every year. And unfortunately for Vandy, it has never once gone their way. Oh boy. All right, let's rock. Vandy calls tails. And tails it is. They elect to receive. Perfectly fine by me, because we can Thunder Smoke Blitz. No, they got 8 yards. 3 and out, though. Okay. Let us begin the festivities. And already we're in Vandy territory. Oh my, we're already at the 15. Well, you're not going to see many easier drives than that one as Marvin Wall gets the touchdown off the slant. We're up 7-0. The 2 deep gap shoot continues to be one of the worst defensive plays I've ever seen. They went for it on 4th and 6 and don't get it. I respect the AI. For on 4th and 6, it's a long field goal range. You don't want to punt, so you just let it fly. I respect that. I'd like if the AI did that more, to be honest. They've sacked me. How rude. Imagine, you get a sack on 1st down, it's 2nd and long, you're like, yes! And then 2 plays later, we're almost in the red zone. So mean. So rude. Raphael Greer runs it in. For those keeping track at home, we are in fact on pace to get more than 50 points. And Vandy punts once again. Yeah, this looks like it'll be a blowout. Never mind, Jackson Conrad decided to fumble. Again, I cannot stress enough. Last season, Conrad had almost 200 carries, never fumbled. This season, in 5 games, he has now fumbled 4 times. And then they fumble. Tight end Efrain Randolph fumbles. Maxwell Winters forces and recovers. No one wants to hold on to the football today. Carson Tam with the touchdown. 21-0. I think I'm just going to get really aggressive and just send the house. Well, it kind of works. Julius McNeil gets the sack. They punt again. We are in pretty bad field position, though. See if we can get out of it. We got out of it. Can we get out of it again? Yes, we can. 3rd and 10. Where's my corner post? Send it. We punt. Vandy has a chance to put points on the board. Why did I click cover 4 quarters? Ooh. All right. Everyone cross your fingers for a punt return for a touchdown. Well, he got 3 yards. Not quite the points we were hoping. We're no longer on pace to score 50 plus. This is unacceptable. Their defense is starting to shore up a little. Never mind, we converted the 3rd and 8. They got the corner down pat. There we go. They convert the 3rd and 10, but they punt all the same. All right, we got really good field position. Let's try to get a touchdown here. Not that I think Vandy will come back and win or even put points on the board at this point, but it'd be nice to have a little bit more of a cushion. 1st and goal up to 2. Let's just run it in. Really? Come on. Show some pride, men. There we go. It took 4 attempts, but we finally got there. 28-0. All right, they punt. We need to score essentially 3 touchdowns in 1 quarter with the backup. It's not that I don't have faith in the backups. Corner post failed once again. I'm never running it. It is now banned, this game. Incompletions. Abraham makes the field goal, though. And a strip sack return for a fumble by Luke Parker. How far down is he on the depth chart? He's 5th. Should he be 4th? Nah. But I'll take that. All right. That helps us on our quest to 51. Them converting on a 3rd and 7 does not help me there. Uh-oh. Now we're starting to run the ball well. No. Screw it. 4th and 6. Let's go for it. Curls. Send it. Fine. Maybe that was a silly decision, but it's fine. All right. I think we're not going to get 50, but that is what it is. We still have like Arkansas and South Carolina to get there. I'm just going to run nothing but slants and see if I can get us to victory. Wow. To be fair, it worked kind of well. We beat Vandy 38-0. Our offense kind of stumbled a little bit in the middle. They averaged 0.2 yards a rush. Obviously, part of that's because we sacked them 7 times. And so all their run games were just wiped out by the sacks. But Burks did really well, 16-24, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Greer had a good game, 2 touchdowns. Conrad fumbled again. Bane of my existence. But yeah, 7 sacks from our defense. Huge. Julius McNeil is vindicating my decision to make him a starting linebacker, which I like to see. Yeah, pretty dominant. I mean, there are very few SEC opponents I expect to pitch a shutout against. Vandy is one of them, so we're not expect. More so, if it would happen, it would be against like Vandy and South Carolina and all that. So we advance the week to our bye week. Ooh, we have some commits. 3 players commit. 2 of them were the only team interested in. JUCO D-line Giovanni Blue. He is loyal, so my plan is to redshirt him his first year of eligibility, just so I can get his numbers a little bit higher, considering we have some younger guys at D-line that should play. Wide receiver Lance Kahn signs. He's here for his potential. His numbers aren't that great, low mid 70s in ball skills and athleticism, but A+ potential. He's going to redshirt, so he'll get 2 hits of development before he even sees the field. And then backup kicker Makai Curry. Come on down. Cool. So now we're up to 4 commits with 15 targets remaining. So now we're behind on 5 players, but we still have visits for all of them. Ooh, did Michigan State schedule before me? Dang, they schedule after. All right. I was hoping I could get 3rd visit bonus. That'd be nice. I think right now I'm still going to hold off on offering money. If any player gets the, may commit soon before the visits, then I might throw some cash around, but until then I'll be fine. Once again, I would like to see recruits that no other team is interested in or even putting pitches to sign with me. Like, I am 4,000 points ahead and 5,000 points ahead of all these guys. No other team is even making a pitch. Why do they not just commit to me at that point? Especially these 2 who've already had a visit. Silly, I say. All right. We get Maxwell Winters back next week. Cool. All right, Maxwell is back. He's going to slide up to number 2 on the depth chart. Julius McNeil is complaining about playing time. How's Guadalupe doing? 11 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss. Horrendous in coverage. Yeah, I'm gonna swap Julius and Guadalupe. I think my decision to pay Guadalupe 800,000 to keep him, that might come back to bite me, but we'll see. Hudson, listen, buddy, you wouldn't play, so quit complaining. Please. Please. Are any of my corners complaining? Oh, yes, all three of them. Oh, boy. The good news is, at least at corner, I can promise a lot of these guys more playing time because Jesus, Anthony, and Tony are all graduating. Speaking of which, Tony, how you been in coverage? 5 of 12, he's been solid. How's Anthony been? 10 of 17. Oh, yeah. Yeah, not too bad. All right. I doubt anything changed in recruiting unless people gave money. Doesn't look like it. Cool. Yeah, it looks like the only fights are going to be with these bottom five guys. And in all honesty, if we don't get Dylan White, if we don't get Colton Downs, we're perfectly fine. So I think if I offer money, it'll be to Lance Davies, Andre Stevens, maybe Mateo Leno, but I think we're in a pretty good situation in terms of recruiting. All right, we're about an hour 30 in. I think I'll do Arkansas game and then see what we got. Arkansas 2-4. They beat Clemson and Ole Miss, and they lost to everybody else. And they're not really good at any one thing. I mean, they're slightly above average team at passing the ball, but they don't get big plays. They're terrible on defense in terms of conversion rate. Like, not a great team. Who is this guy? Frank Jiong, who looks like was their starter, then benched. Oh no, they just sat him out when he had a minor injury, it looks like. Yeah, they sat him out when he had the minor injury. I haven't seen the AI do that. That's interesting. Anyway, let's look at this guy. Ooh. I mean, he can definitely run the football, and he's really, really accurate. That said, he's thrown 4 interceptions in so far, but he's also ran for 270 yards. And okay, looks like a pretty interesting quarterback. I'm going to go stop the run then, in case they have any designed runs that they want to throw my or designed QB runs that they want to throw my way. All right, we are favored by 22 points. Arkansas has 10 players visiting. And so far in the sim, Arkansas has only beaten Bama once. That was in 2029. Let's flip the coin. Tails never fails. Vindication. We will defer. I don't think I've gone first so far this season. The Thunder Smoke Blitz to open has yet to find great success, and they convert on 3rd and 7. And 3rd and 10. Bad time for me to blitz there. All right, we send them backwards, but they get in the end zone on 3rd and 4. This is genuinely a worrisome trend where I think we played, 6 games? In 4 or 5 out of 6 games, the opposing team has scored as they're on their first possession. And even if we hold them, like against Georgia, we held them scoreless essentially the rest of the way, but they scored in the first possession. Mikey Hunter, 34-yard touchdown off the slants. We're doing great. Can our defense get a stop to save their natural life? Yes, they can. Good job getting the QB. All right, let's run the ball a bit. Never mind. All right. Abraham makes the field goal. Thank you, sir. They did four verts on 2nd and 13 from their own 22. I respect it. Yeah, we're looking pretty good defensively since that first drive. 3rd and goal at the 3. I'm going to run it, and if I don't get the touchdown, I'm just going to run it again. All right, time to run it again. We don't get it. They stop us at their own 2. Credit to them. There we go. 2nd 11 at the 1. Can we get a safety? No dice. All right, but we get good field position on next drive, and immediately Marvin Wall scores a touchdown off the corner. Thank you. Thank you. We're up by 10. Pretty good response. Sean Ballard with a sack. I have not seen his name that many times this season. Is that a true statement? As I fact check myself? Yeah, I mean, he only had 1 tackle for a loss prior to this game. All right. I'm going to keep chew clock on until we cross midfield. Cool. And let's just go to normal. 1st and goal at the 3. We're just going to do a little run. Greer runs it in. All right. I think it was looking a little shaky at the beginning, but I think our offense has turned it around. Defense is doing much better. Let's see if we can get like a field goal on the board here as Carson Tam gets me 40 yards. Thank you, sir. Let's go for a touchdown. And we get the touchdown. Marvin Wall, 17-yard pass. There we are. I want them to attempt this 3rd and 9 just so I can make their 3rd down conversion rate worse. Cool. That's just so petty. But as I always say, it is impossible to be a bad sportsman against AI. So therefore, just run wild as Rafael Greer gets me 38 yards. Yeesh. Look at Greer. Have a day as he gets another touchdown. 38-7. Uh-oh. All right, Arkansas gets their first points since the opening drive of the game, which is pretty good. And Jackson Conrad runs in, and yeah, they just can't stop us. At a certain point, you start to feel bad for them. Rafael Greer, I need you not to get stopped twice in a row. All right, the backups are in. I'm gonna go for it. If I punt it here and it's a touchback, it's a net 12-yard punt, and he's not making the 51-yard field goal. So we go for it. We get it. All right, this field goal I'll go for. Well, Arkansas's driving against our backups. And they don't get it. Turnover on downs. They need 9 yards on the slant. They only get 8. That's rough. Again, part of me feels bad. The other part of me knows that I need to get 51 points sometime this season. So, let's see how quick we can do this, guys. We convert the 3rd and 5. Medium passes are nerfed. That's fine. Let it fly, Jesse. It didn't work. Operation Let It Fly. Unsuccessful. Let it fly, Jesse. Oh, pride cometh before the fall. We flew too close to the sun and Jesse got picked. Oh, boy. Man. Ooh. Oh. They went for it and didn't get it. We have a chance here. We just need a field goal. There we go. To the 14-yard line. Field goal is up, and it's good. We got 51 points. Huge, and then they got 56 yards on the Hail Mary. That's impressive. Well, we beat Arkansas 51-10. I think pretty good game. And then, as happens, you put in the backups. The wheels kind of fell off, but that's all right. I think Burks did really well. 18-24, 344 yards. What an average. 3 touchdowns. The running game did well, which is good. Cesar Dixon, if he threatens to transfer, I'll have nothing to say to the man. Like, he went from being our second running back and having 15 touchdowns last season to just doing nothing this season. 100 yards, 2 touchdown game for Wall. We might legitimately have the best wide receiver in the country on our team. Like, in 2 more development hits, he'll be awesome. But a couple sacks from our defense, that'll do. All right, we advanced the week. Let's see if Tennessee was able to make their way up the rankings. No. Did they lose? They lost 26-0 to Mississippi State. Well, okay. That happened. All right, no injuries, which is good, because I really want a full-strength team going into Tennessee and then Notre Dame. Looks like, yeah, we're keeping pace with the bottom 4. We've jumped ahead of West Virginia for Dylan White, which is good. That Notre Dame game's going to be crazy. Again, I'm 5,000 points ahead on these guys. Please let them commit. Okay. About an hour 47. I think I will play the Tennessee game. Let's see what they got. They're 5-2. They lost to Northwestern to open, which is kind of funny. And then they ran it, lost to Mississippi State. Wow, that is a bad defense. They're 116th in opposing pass yards per game, 127th in plays, 129. Jeez. Okay. So they're horrendous defensively. Noted. Offensively, I mean, they're above average in running and passing, but gonna need more with a defense that's not doing great. Jaden Mason is their starter now. He can run. That is notable. 84 arm strength, 80 accuracy. So yeah, one thing I did when I checked. Yeah, Young only ran it 7 times for 14 yards. Okay. Well, I'm not too afraid of Tennessee. However, they were literally the only team to beat us last season. So we'll see. What I will always find funny about last season in terms of this, had we lost to literally any other team we faced, whether it's Fresno State, Florida, Notre Dame, we would have been in the SEC championship game. But because we lost to Tennessee and they're in our division, they made it to the SEC championship game. But you know what? I won the national championship. So I feel like I should be more happy. However, still a little bitter. So, revenge game against Tennessee. I want to blow them out. I don't want it to be close. Must win game. We have 6 recruits visiting, really only 2 of whom we're in tight battles with. Mateo Little, the corner, and Dylan White, the running back. Everyone else, I assume, regardless of if we win or lose, they will commit. So far in the sim, though, as I stated last time, Tennessee has been Bama's boogeyman. Certainly the past 5 or so years, where Tennessee has won 4 out of the past 5 matchups, which is kind of crazy. But let's put Bama back in the winning column here. It fails. It never fails. When will they learn? When will I learn that Thundersmoke Blitz gets me burned more often than not? Never mind, Luis Silva with the sack. All right. We have the mandate. And they don't convert. 3 and out. Okay. Good start. We just need to score. Or 3 and out. That I guess is also an option. Maxwell Winters getting a sack this time around. Welcome back. And Paul Wilcox, the second safety with the interception. They did 4 verts. Fair enough. All right. We need to score. We need to score. Anthony Burks getting sacked doesn't exactly help that objective. And Abraham misses the field goal. Man. All right, they punt. Good sack there on 3rd down. And David Sheffield on the go route. 61-yard touchdown to begin the score, and we're up 7-0. Our defense is doing pretty good, but they convert that time, and then they burn us on the RPO. I had barely finished my sentence of the defense is doing good, and then they allow a 20-yard pass and then a 35-yard touchdown. That's what I get for jinxing it. And the jinx continues as Anthony Burks throws his 2nd interception of the year, I believe, to Dylan Miles. Oh, boy. And they do a read option for a touchdown. Okay. We are losing once again, but Jackson Conrad, 55-yard rush. Rafael Greer runs it in. We're tied up. Man, this game has been nuts so far. A lovely game for the neutrals. Good. Luke Parker get the tackle for a loss. They make a 52-yarder in the rain? Can I have your kicker? 101 power, 93 accuracy. That's the highest nose numbers I've ever seen. Jeez. That's crazy. All right. Tennessee takes the lead. Let's see if we can get across midfield. Yes, we do. Switch to normal tempo. I don't want to leave Tennessee with barely any time because they got a Hail Mary on us last year. And I'm eager to not repeat that. 1st and goal at the 4. 2 clock. Go. Timeout. I'm going to kick a field goal. All right, we tied up. 2 clock there was a mistake. I think I should have just kept it on normal. I didn't expect the run play to take like 12 seconds off the clock. But that is what it is. And we punt. They convert the 3rd and 1. That's a shame. And strip sack from Lawrence Mosley. Jorge Peters recovers. Thank you. Now, we failed to score on their last turnover, so we need to score on this one. And Cade Baxter over the middle does just that. All right, we're up by 7. Now, just no dumb mistakes. We should hold. Thank you, defense, for the 3 and out. Much appreciated. Full screen. It kind of worked. All right, we're going to become a little bit of a running team here because we need to burn some clock. Rafael Greer going backwards. Not quite part of my plan. But we're moving. We're shaking. The play action gets us to the 4, and Rafael Greer runs it in. 14-point lead. Defense gets another 3 now. Okay. We have all the momentum in the free world. But we punt. All right. Maybe I should have ran it there on 3rd and 3 instead of passing, but that is what it is. Tennessee punts anyway. Cool. All right, we punt. The starters are still in because the cutoff for the under 5 is 15 points. And Joel Bellamy with the interception of Jaden Mason. Now we'll just run the ball out. Then for the heck of it, try to burn them on a play action. Didn't work. We take the field goal. All right. Backups are now in on defense. And they get the stop. Well done, lads. Let's just run the ball a little bit. To the 6, Aaron Middleton goes. And Middleton runs it in for a touchdown. Like I said, it is impossible to be a bad sportsman against AI. And we avenge last season's loss by beating Tennessee 41-17. That'll do. We outscored them 24-0 in the second half. That's how you do it. Also, we were only 3 of 10 on 3rd down. Let's ignore that. That's crazy. But Burks did pretty well. 18 to 27. Did throw the pick. But, I mean, Conrad had a great game. 10 carries, 101 yards. Greer did pretty good. 2 touchdowns. Cesar Dixon still probably wants to leave and just run, which is fair. A lot of receivers getting involved, which is good. Baxter getting a touchdown is also good. If Baxter declares for the draft after I've only had him for like 1 year and I paid $2.2 million for him, I'm going to cry. 10 tackles for a loss by our defense is insane. 4 sacks, a forced fumble, 2 picks. Look at our boys. Look at our guys. That's a good one. We needed that too. I was so mad last year when Tennessee was the only team to beat us. We were denied an undefeated season all the way. But we get the win against Tennessee. Let me have a look at our division and see where we stand. Oh no, Jesus Frazier is out 6 weeks. It's fine. Yeah. So we're 6-0 in conference. Tennessee is 4-2, and we have the tiebreaker, which means we would have to lose. We would have to lose all 3 of our remaining SEC games to not make the conference championship game. That'll do. That'll do. All right, we did have a couple injuries. Bellamy is out for 4. Jesus Frazier's out for 6. So I'm going to play Gilberto Frank over Bellamy just to give him a little bit of snap, see what he's got. And then Jesus Frazier going down. I mean, he still should be one of my top guys. He's still got the speed, man coverage. Yep. So him and Anthony swap. Jesus also, though, is allowed 10 out of 15 passes allowed. My decision to pay him to keep him from going to the draft does not look like a great one right now. But that is what it is. All right, let's look at recruiting here. We had 2 recruits commit. Alejandro Elmore, 3-star O-lineman. Just, decent potential. Mid-high 60 ratings. Could be good. Moses Strickland commits. Good coverage corner already. Decent speed. And he might even play as a true freshman, depending on how many backup corners I lose. So we get them. Let me look at the recruiting visit results. 12 to 1300 for everybody, which is pretty good. That puts me 1,500 points ahead of Georgia for Mateo Little and 1,600 ahead of West Virginia. Sweet. So, yeah, now the only ones I'm behind on are Lance Davies, Andre Stevens, and Colton Downs. And we're pulling further ahead on Javier, so recruiting is looking good. And as I said, if we don't get Colton Downs, it's not the end of the world. Andre Stevens, I would like to have. Lance Davies, I would really, 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 really like to have. So I might offer them NIL, depending on how this upcoming visit goes. But I will save that for next video, where we will start going up against number 2 Notre Dame, then finishing with some SEC play before we get on to the SEC championship game and the playoffs beyond. But we started today the number 1 ranked team in the country, and we finished out number 1 ranked team in the country, going 8-0. Looks like overall, Notre Dame, USC, Fresno State undefeated, Kent State undefeated. Look at them go. Look at our boys. All right, so my 2 former teams of Fresno State and Kent State are a combined 16-0 right now. That's pretty cool. Come on, Kent State. Make the playoffs. Win the MAC. Charge. No, they'll probably put in like 6-3 loss in Michigan. Anyway. Overall, really good. 8-0, you can't really complain. We've been really healthy with injuries also. I think a big thing we'll have to deal with at the end of the season is, once again, just the sheer amount of players that want to transfer, how that's going to look. Might be a bit terrifying. Look at my running back room right now. It's literally my top guys, and then everybody else just wants to leave. Which, fair enough. But we will cross that bridge when we get to it. Thank you all for watching, whether live on Twitch or on the VOD, which can be found both on Twitch and the YouTube video of the same name. We will finish up this season this week, and then see if, hopefully, we can become back-to-back champs for the first time this sim. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.